Hello there, I am Justina of Just Classical. I am a Christian and a homeschooling mom of three, and I've been homeschooling my kids since they were in the womb. Yes, I say that because I taught them music classes while I was pregnant, and more formally, I've been homeschooling for the last 12 years. I also founded Just Classical, where I provide music and art resources, memory songs, and encouragement for homeschool families. So today, I want to talk to you about art appreciation and 10 reasons to study art and the great artists. So there's an old saying, and it says, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Well, this is for each person on this earth has his or her own interpretation of what is beautiful, what is good art, and what one likes. Now, what you consider to be meaningful in art, I may not, but as educators of our children, it is important to expose our children to formal art and the great artists. Now, of course, our opinions may also vary as to who the great artists really are, but there are generally accepted famous and influential artists whose works and lives are worthy of study. So why should we study art and the great artists? Well, I have 10 reasons for you. Number one, studying art and the great artists fulfills a human need to enjoy God and beauty. God is the creator and the author of creativity and beauty. Is not God an artist? As we study his creation, a form of art we call science, we get to know more about God and thus glorify him as creator. Man has long desired to capture the beauty of creation in pictures too. And thus, we as humans, who are made in God's image, desire to imitate his creative skills. Not all of us are as skilled in producing art, so we can appreciate the art of others, who are mere imitators of God, the creator and the artist. So again, the first reason to study art and the great artists is that it fulfills a human need to enjoy God and beauty. Secondly, the more one understands something, the more one appreciates it. I first heard this idea in my 10th grade humanities class where we studied art amongst other things. It was my first exposure to studying art, and I can't say I was too impressed with Cézanne's paintings of still life. However, children who are exposed to art early also develop appreciation more easily than teenagers. Now, my father had some art of John Constable and Claude Monet on the walls in our home, but I hadn't studied these artists or what they might have been trying to express before. With exposure to the artist's stories and intentions, I began to enjoy, or at least appreciate, the art and what went into the painting. Now, as a musician, I've also found that the pieces I spent hours practicing and performing are the ones I have the greatest appreciation and love for. So, the more we understand about something, the more we can appreciate it, whether it's art or music or something else as well. Now, also, another reason to study art and the great artists is that art tells a story and it's a means of communication. We are drawn to stories. We become curious about the subjects of paintings or why there is a giant sculpture of parts of farm equipment in the park. So this leads to the next two reasons. When we study art, we learn history and culture. Through art study, we connect with others across centuries and cultures, especially when art study is paired with history. For example, pre-Renaissance European art is mostly church art, flat, expressionless icons, because after the fall of Rome, when the barbarian hordes destroyed most of the art of Rome, the Catholic Church was the main power and influence in the Middle Ages, and so they basically controlled art. Later, during the Renaissance, people developed humanistic ideas and became interested in studying and drawing the human body, so that nudity is a regular part of art of this period. The historical context helps one to understand the subjects and whys of the artworks of the time. Also, while I am not a lover of Picasso, When I understood that his famous painting Guernica was a response to a horrific slaughter of citizens in a Spanish town by the Nazis in World War II, the black, white, and gray colors and the disjointed style of Cubism actually seem a fitting expression of this topic. Now, connected to this is the next reason that we study art and the great artists. It helps us to discern worldview. Rembrandt, the great Dutch artist, grew up at the same time, the early 1600s, as the Pilgrims were living in Leiden, Holland, and Christian faith was an important aspect of many issues of the time. Thus, his paintings are realistic, and one of his favorite subjects was Bible stories. Picasso, on the other hand, had no allegiance to faith in God and lived all the pleasures of the flesh, being a womanizer, for example. His worldview was self-centered and anti-God, and so we see this in his confused, distorted artworks of Cubism and Surrealism. Children can observe these artworks and see the result of worldview, and so develop discernment. So another reason to study art and the great artists is that it helps us to develop critical thinking through skills of observation, interpretation, and criticism. Taking time to observe shapes, colors, styles, etc. is a basic skill children develop. Remember the find the difference pictures found in children's books? So that is the observation, right? And then the next step is to interpret what we see. So again, we'll go back to reason number 3, which is in art study, we learn history and culture. And in number 4, in studying art, we discern worldview. Then we can criticize and form opinions. Criticizing art and forming opinions about it help to develop the critical thinking needed for bigger life choices, decisions, and opinions. So the 7th reason to study art and great artists is it teaches concrete and abstract thought. Some art is very realistic, while other art shows impressions of a view. Think Impressionism and Monet's paintings of the Houses of Parliament in London in the fog. Okay, it's just an impression. It doesn't look very realistic, right? Or some art shows many angles of the same object at the same time. Think Surrealism and Picasso's view of a woman from many angles. So exposure to a wide variety of art can then help us interpret reality, but it also shows that there are abstract concepts. So art teaches concrete and abstract thought. Also, we have become a visual culture. So knowledge of graphic symbolism is helpful to navigate marketing logos. We need tools to respond to imagery. So the critical thinking skills and understanding of concrete and abstract thought are essential in not giving in to every marketing slogan and symbol. Another reason to study art and the great artists is it promotes emotional well-being. Taking time to study art and music, or visit museums and attend concerts, means one is involved with life and the world around. So 2 recent studies show that being engaged and enthusiastic about the arts preserves a sense of purpose in life, and hence emotional well-being for adults. For students, regular field trips to museums or concerts promote positive engagement in school and less disciplinary problems because school is not considered boring. So finally, the last reason, actually there's probably many more reasons, but the last reason I'm going to share is that studying art and the great artists develops the brain and keeps it active. Students who attended arts field trips made more academic gains and scored better on standardized tests. And adults who participate in the arts or visit museums show less cognitive decline. So again, art engages our brains and promotes purpose and involvement in life. So art is a fundamental human expression as we imitate God the Creator, and art enriches our lives as we enjoy God and beauty. Through art, we learn people's stories, history, culture, worldview, discernment, and critical thinking. We enjoy emotional well-being and purpose, and we keep our brains active. So the more we study and understand art, the more we will appreciate it. Now, if you want help adding art to your homeschool, I would love to help you. A great place to get started is with my artist unit studies from the Artist Detective, where Rembrandt, well, that's me dressed up. Okay, I dress up as Rembrandt, and I lead your child in learning about great artists and their works. Right now, there are 14 artists you can study, including Renaissance artists like Giotto, Fra Angelico, Michelangelo, Albrecht Dürer, El Greco, the great Dutch master Rembrandt, Rococo artist Thomas Gainsborough, Impressionist Claude Monet, Edgar Degas, and Bertha Morisot, and post-impressionist Vincent van Gogh, and 2 American artists right now, Grandma Moses and Norman Rockwell. So that is the course, The Artist Detective. You can buy units individually, or you can buy volumes where I pair 6 of them together. I also have a beginning drawing course for elementary students called Drawing with Rembrandt. Again, I dress up as Rembrandt, and I lead your child in learning to draw using the elements of shape while breaking things down into steps. Plus, I have some music courses, and for that, I dress up as George Friedrich Handel, and the music appreciation course is called The Composer Detective, and it's for families. And I also have Making Music with Handel, which focuses on music fundamentals and teaching the tin whistle. I also have a membership, the Just Classical Fine Arts membership, which guides you through both music and art for a low monthly subscription. Thanks for listening today. I'm Justina of Just Classical, and I hope to connect with you through some of my resources, emails, or on Facebook or YouTube.